And we are live. You already know who it is. My name is Mike Kyle, aka the Fantasy Vulture. I have over a decade worth of fantasy football experience and have continuously competed for fantasy championships over the course of the past 8 seasons. Let's make it 9 in 2021. But enough of me. I'm here for you. This is a long overdue series of videos, but it is about that time. We are officially about to enter NFL draft season. You guys have seen the mock drafts coming out left and right. You guys have seen the player rumors and the trades already happen. And here today, we're going to kick off our rookie player profile series, breaking down all of the prominent rookies in terms of a fantasy football perspective. We're going to look at their highlights, their stats, their metrics and things of that nature. And what better way to start than Alabama running back Najee Harris. This dude is an absolute fucking freight train. But before we dive into that, a few quick things from you. First off, hit that like button down below to show your support for this video. Hit that subscribe button as well so you don't miss a video from me. I think I have 40 rookie profiles to get through in about, let's check the notes here, 27 days. So we are going to be doubling up on uploads here in the near future before the NFL draft. And last but not least, you can follow me on all social media platforms at FFVulture, TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. Twitter and Instagram, the two primaries, TikTok being a third. I'm going to transport some micro video content over there. But regardless, it's going to be a good time regardless. And as always, you can check out the website, ffvulture.com, for some premium fantasy football packages. But let's get right into it. Alabama running back Najee Harris. Let's just start. I have no idea what this format's going to be. I have an idea of how these kind of videos are going to go. But let's just get right into it. Let's watch some highlights, shall we? Actually, before we even do this, is there a way for me to? I can't. Oh, look at. I'm learning. Okay, this is another thing that's really important to me, and I really want to establish this, and I'll be saying it in probably every single rookie video. So there's a few things before we even get started, and in fact, let me just go back here to full screen. So there's a few quick things before we dive in that I want to discuss just a little bit. Number one is where I get my highlights from and why I watch them. So I primarily go to 3 different YouTube channels for college football highlights. Number one is Sick Edits HD. The second one is Just Bomb Productions. And then I also use Flash Productions as well. The reason why I use these 3 is because they're all edited in very similar styles, which means I'm not just going to watch one player. I'm not going to watch one player's highlights be presented one way, and then another player presented in an entirely different format, because what that can do is that can really skew your perception of what you think of a player. Now, why do I watch highlights in general, though? One, because it is quick information. You can kind of see what a player does on the field and what his impact is. But even more importantly, if you don't ball out and be the star of your own highlight tape, like if you don't jump off the page in your own highlights, which are supposed to be your best moments, why would I even consider wasting my time diving deeper into the tape on you, or deeper into the stats, or whatever it may be, just taking that deeper approach into your profile, if you can't even ball out on your own tape, if that makes sense, right? So I use highlights first, and then what I'll traditionally do is after I watch highlights, if I'm watching somebody who I'm intrigued by, or if I'm like, oh yeah, like this player's it. If it's the latter, if it's, oh yeah, that player's it, I probably won't do a full game dive. But if I feel like I need to, I'll go through and I'll cycle through a few of that player's best games just to kind of get a better understanding of what happened, why they made the impact that they did. And then after all of that, I will go right into their stats and just some of their numbers. So for these videos in particular, we're just going to go highlights, the numbers, and then anything else after that is going to be on my own time, and you guys can all find that on the website ffvulture.com for all of the updated rookie rankings and rankings in general and some of the deeper numbers that I present. So let's get right back to it. All right, so Najee Harris, 6'2", 230, the senior from California, and let's just see what he's got here. I'm gonna turn this up just a bit. So Najee's highlight tape is from Sick Edits HD.
First and 10. Mac Jones flips it out. Here's Harris. Beautiful move by Najee.
Right, so there's like, that's just one of those plays where it's like the athleticism. And one of the things, like, if you know Najee, like, this dude is just an athletic fucking freak. And like, there's another play of it right there where it's like he's supposed to be dead, breaks one tackle. There's the athleticism with the hurdle. I mean, just, it's unbelievable. Like, he's 230 pounds doing this shit. Like, he's not like a Travis Etienne that's a $185. Like, no, like, Najee's a fucking freight train. And I think the thing like that is the most impressive is the fact of his pass catching ability. It's truly unbelievable that this dude is this talented.
Najee Harris
He just rips through dudes.
Najee Harris refusing to go down.
Does he get in the end zone? Oh, I was about to say, if he got in the end zone there, like, whoo! Just wild. I mean, I already know what my comparison for Najee is, and some of you guys might not like it, but
And he's still going, and he got a first down.
yeah, just Jesus Christ.
Najee Harris bounces it.
My only concern with Najee is speed more than anything, right? Like, if he can't break tackles at the next level, we're going to have problems, because he's not the fastest guy, but just his side-to-side skills, his ability to break tackles, it's wild.
Giving up ground, but keeping his momentum.
Can I see him get in the end zone? Thank you. Nice ball extension there. Spin move, like, just woo! Ref gets in the way there. I would love to know what happened if he didn't. I mean, good lord. Another pass. Another reception. Yeah, it's wild.
Najee Harris, touchdown, Alabama. Najee Harris again. This line,
Easy.
off balance to the left, only one right guard.
Nice juke. Just go.
Yeah. And a little bit of a stiff bomb to the end zone.
Buckets.
Touchdown, Alabama.
So nimble with the football. Reads this, bounces out.
Another one. Right, and like I think like that's the thing that makes him so interesting, is you watch all of these highlights and it's like this dude just doesn't get stopped at the line. So if you get in those situations where it is 3rd and 4, if it's 2nd and 4, or you're at the goal line and maybe you're at like the 3, like he's going to be able to get those for you. Yeah, he might get like stopped or whatever like shortly thereafter, but his ability to just like keep extending plays is really impressive. Like, bam, again, another broken tackle and picks up an additional 4 yards. Like, it's just what he does. Like, he should be stopped right there. Breaks another one. Like, his body control and what he's able to do in just in terms of staying upright, it's wild.
Words like horrible, terrible.
Like, dear God. Again, hang on, let's go back to that. So if we rewind this just a bit, watch this. So, bam, there's contact there. There's more contact. So, picks up at this point right now, 1, 2, he's picked up 4 yards. Gets an additional 4. Gets tackled, or I'm sorry, gets wrapped up here after an additional 2. So you're looking at a +8 gain right now. And then just rips off an additional 5. So he turned what was supposed to be a 4-yard gain into what, a +13 yard gain, right? Like, that's just the ability that he has in terms of body control and his strength in breaking tackles and staying upright.
Najee Harris.
It's another one. Like, this dude is just a fucking bulldozer.
He gets the carry. Cuts back and gets the
Bam. Easy, automatic.
Tisdale actually had him tackled behind the line of scrimmage. Watch number 22 has it wrapped up with 2 hands. Can't bring him down. That's the strength and the power.
Wild.
This crowd's the line, and Najee Harris runs right by them again. Inside the 10.
Automatic. And like, again, just goal line, just, there's no such thing as a negative play, it seems like, with Najee Harris. Oh, and by the way, he also catches passes. And spins. Nasty. Let's watch that again. Oh, they were gonna show it to us, but just flanks out, feels the defender on him, and woo! That's so cold. And he's 230 pounds doing this shit. Give me an explosion.
12 catches for Smith after he had 11 last year against.
And again, one of my biggest concerns with him, oh my god damn. Like, the only concern is, can he do this at the next level?
Harris up the middle.
Great extension there. Keeps his body parallel.
But just the power of Najee Harris. Watch him run right through the tackle of number 14. Dalen Gill is there, number 14, but
he just bulldozed,
Harris
just gets
is not
in.
going to be denied at the goal line. First down, and the game is over for all intents and purposes. They go to a power formation. They go to
He just
Najee
rips
Harris.
it.
Najee
Bam.
Harris
He's
going
gone.
to the end zone.
He gone.
Fifth time tonight.
He's a big man, 6'1.5", 230, straight arms like Derrick Henry.
Breaks another tackle there. Multiple tackles, just again stays up, picking up an extra 3 yards. And like, the reason why I'm bringing that up is because, like, in fantasy, like, those yards matter, right? Like, you are looking at somebody who is literally making a difference on every single play and every time that he touches the ball.
19, another tight end in motion. Najee Harris inside the 10, the 5.
Jesus Christ, what a cutback. Hang on, I want to go back to that. So watch what happens here. So that first step. All right, it's quick. So he's gonna get the handoff, go in, bounce out, and then go back forward. He's gonna go straight and then cuts back out again. So in that short little span, it's what, 3 or 4 cuts?
Najee Harris.
And again, just
Outside. Najee Harris on his way.
whew.
All the way down inside the 20-yard line. Follow the fullback, or this time it's the H-back.
It's wild.
It's the first play you put in as a running
And
back.
again, like, I don't look at
Najee
Najee as a speed guy. Like, he definitely is the bulldozer type, as we've been watching. But that side-to-side ability, like, he just bounced out so quick there.
Watch Najee to the top of the screen, go out, stop, and then run across the field. Out, stop, and then go across the linebacker's face.
And
What a
just
design on a play.
unbelievable. This dude's a pass catching running back too.
Working his way back, it seems like he might be
Like, this
available
doesn't,
for
he,
the national
Najee
championship
he
game.
doesn't feel
11
fair.
days.
Doesn't feel fair, and then you do shit like that.
And now running down the sideline.
Like, what?
And he's chopped out of bounds.
What?
Deep in Irish territory. You saw
And
the
that
graphic.
play right
He's
there is
won
obviously,
3
like, so
finals. The
iconic,
Doak
right?
Walker Award is the best running back in the country. You can
So
go
there we
ahead and
go.
give him that one right now.
So that's Najee. But we're going to go back to the stats now. Let's pull these up. All right. So let's look at Najee Harris, running back from Alabama, just a bit further and a little bit more in depth. And the unfortunate thing about, the pandemic still going on, hopefully coming to an end in the near future, is the fact that we don't have workout metrics for these guys, or at least for the majority of them. Najee Harris was at the Alabama Pro Day, but he did not participate due to an injury. But so we don't have a 40-yard dash time, we don't have a speed score, we don't have a burst score, agility, or bench press. And those are numbers that I do kind of like to look at, especially for wide receivers and running back. I really don't give a shit about quarterbacks all too much, but definitely the skill position guys are like, I want those numbers. I want those numbers because they kind of just give you like that extra level of analysis and things you can kind of look at when you are evaluating these guys, right? So Najee Harris listed at 6'1", 230 pounds on the dot. College at Alabama. He's 23. He's 23 years old. His expectation, you're looking at a late first-round pick, early second at the absolute latest. And then just going into his college stats just a little bit, we're going to break these down here, right? 4-year player at Alabama. And really what I like to do, I don't really give a shit about, a player's first 2 years, especially. a running back, because if you're at Alabama, you're going to play behind guys like Josh Jacobs, Kenyon Drake, like whoever's been like Alabama, as we all know, is just a fucking running back factory. So let's really just look at what happened in 2019 and in 2020 when he was kind of the lead dog there. So 2019, 209 rush attempts, 12,000 yards, averaged just under 6 yards per carry, 20 total touchdowns, and this is where it's so impressive what Najee Harris does. 36 targets, 27 receptions, had a 9% target share essentially, and had 304 receiving yards. And actually, let's pull up the calculator here. What is his pass, right? So he caught 75% of his targets in 2019. Let's go over now to the senior year, and now he's just the guy. Like, the offense, in a sense, revolves around him in that backfield. 251 carries, 1,400 yards, 30 total touchdowns, 43 of 57, which is 75% again of his target. He caught 75% of his targets and had 425 receiving yards as well. The only thing that I don't like, I use Player Profiler for these. I wish the touchdowns were broken up into rushing and receiving, but that's why we're going to jump over to Sports Reference and just kind of get an idea of where these things were at. So in 2020, he had 26, like, that's fucking wild. 26 total touchdowns rushing, and then 4 receiving, and it's that's one of the things that is just so impressive, is just how often and frequent he was able to get into the end zone. And we know how great Alabama was and how great they've been historically for the past 20 years, right? But my God, Najee Harris is just an absolute fucking freight train here. In terms of fumbles, do we have anything like that? There's defense and fumbles. I don't want that though. Unless he legitimately did not. There we go. Nope. We do have the appearances, the accolades and things like that. Right? So he led the SEC in rushing. Is that career? What is this just for the SEC? And by career I meant I should say for the country, not career, excuse me. It looks like it's, there we go. Yeah, so it is divided up by that. Let's see. Yeah, so he was second in the country in rush attempts. First in the country. First in the ACC in rush attempts. The receiving yards, like, that's wild. That is, he had. That's rushing yards. My bad. Even in receiving touchdowns, 7. He had 7 receiving touchdowns in 2019 as a fucking running back, and that was 9th for the SEC. One of the best conferences, if not the best conference in the country. What do we have for touchdowns? Number 1 in touchdowns in the country for 2020. Number 1 in the SEC. Number 1 in the SEC in 2019. 57 career touchdowns. First in the SEC. God damn. This dude is so cold. And what's wild is the stats don't even fucking break it down. So that's why we're gonna jump over to game logs. Hang on. I also just realized that I was cut off, so let me go back there real quick. God bless America. Okay. Let me alter this just a bit. There we go. All right. Look, it's a learning curve. Also, OBS, before I started recording, just reset all of my settings. Why? I don't know. No idea. So I do apologize about that. But again, I was reading off those numbers, and where they were placed at on the screen, you should have been able to see them. So not too pressed about that. All right. And actually, I'm going to condense this just a bit further. All right. that should work. That should work. And if not, I'll fix it. But anyways, let's go over to the game logs now. Okay. And that is on the screen, so I'm good there. Alright, this is where I like to take it down just an extra step, because if you look at total numbers can always be skewed, right? You have one big game and automatically your numbers are inflated, even though you may have been shit for the past 4. So yes, total numbers are great because it does just give you giant ass numbers to look at, which can come across as really impressive as I just broke those down. But let's see what he did on a game by game basis. And you look here and it's just, you got consistency, kind of, right? In terms of the touchdowns, rushing touchdowns per game, super consistent. You look 3, 2, 5, 1, 3, 0, 2, 1, 3, 2, 2, 0, 2. By and large, super consistent, usually found a way to get into the end zone. And what's crazy is if you look at those receiving touchdowns, 3 of them came in one game, and 1 came in the other one versus Ohio State. And that is where we get kind of interesting numbers, right? This is actually, like, again, this is why we break them down in a game by game basis. Because if you look, and as we said, he had 30 total touchdowns, but 4 came through the air. Well, 3 of them came in one game, right? So how effective was he actually in the pass catching game? But going down just a bit further here, you look at the reception totals, right? 2, 2, 3, 6, 6. He's got some 1s, other 2s, 5, 4, and 7, right? So he has like this wide scope of his receiving abilities, and that's not to say like he's bad or anything like that, but it's just you might never know what kind of reception work he's going to get in a game by game basis. Now he's definitely shown the ability and the capability to have those games of 5+ receptions, but he's also had games where he's kind of disappeared in that category for one reason or another. I mean, but you do look at it. I mean, you can imagine that in the games where he wasn't fully featured in the passing game, they were probably up by 30, and there was no need to use them in those situations, right? So it is just kind of breaking down the numbers and figuring out what the most likely scenario for Najee Harris at the next level is going to be. The rush attempts are super interesting and things like that. I look at the attempts, you look at yards per game and things like that. But like 17 attempts, 12 attempts, 23, 31. You keep going down the list here. You got a few more in the lower teens. You assume they were blowing those guys out, and again, there really wasn't a full need for them to run that ball that much, or they just pulled them in the third or fourth quarter. But you just look again. It's another really wide scope and a wide range of what Najee Harris was. You have multiple games here with 31 rush attempts. You have multiple games here with 20+ rush attempts. You have multiple games here in the lower digit. You're looking at 15, 11, and 13 and 12 rush attempts respectively. So it really was a bit of a mixed bag. But you look at the totality of it all. And this dude, like when he gets the opportunity, he's just raining hell. 98 yards on the ground, 206 yards on the ground, 152, 119, 145, 178, 125. Like, this dude was able to get it done. That's for sure, right? There's no two ways around this. Yes, you do have a few games here. That back leg just died. I need to figure out a way to solve that. Anyways, I apologize. But you look at it and yes, there are a few games here where it's like 3.3 a carry, 3.6, 3.6 up here, but they were all the games, kind of, besides that Ohio State game there at the bottom. You look at the amount of total rush attempts that he had for the game. 14 carries led to a 3.3, 12 carries led to a 3.6. It's like, well, when he gets the full opportunity, he's going to break off 1 or 2 giant runs in those 20+ rush attempt per game contests. Like, obviously it's kind of like basketball. The more shots you take, the more likely you are to eventually make one of them. And obviously that kind of just transition into inflated numbers. But damn, if you're a player like Najee Harris, you're breaking down guys and just wearing out the defense, you're going to be able to find holes in that third and fourth quarter to rip off back-to-back 20+ yard runs or whatever the case is, big-time plays. So Najee Harris, where does this leave him for me? Najee, for me, is the number 1 or number 2 player on my rookie board as of right now. Again, this is all just in terms of fantasy football. I'm not talking actual NFL draft. This is a fantasy football channel. So in terms of rookie drafts, I'm looking at Najee Harris at the easy 101 or easy 102, and the only stipulation for that is Kyle Pitts, who's going to be the next video for me. So I'll break it down just a little bit here, but I'll go into it in more depth during the Kyle Pitts breakdown. So hit that subscribe button down below so you don't miss that. Basically, I love Kyle Pitts. Like, it just makes so much sense in my head to take him number 1, knowing what the scarcity of the tight end position is. But you might not get that immediate impact that you would with Najee Harris. So if you are a contender, you absolutely, if you are a contender and you're one piece away, you absolutely have to take Najee Harris number 1, because you're going to get that immediate impact. And you'll be able to just kind of bam, flip a switch and take off. So if you're in like the later years of your rebuild, or if you're in the later years of your rebuild, or you traded for the number 1 overall pick, feeling like you were a piece away, Najee Harris could be that guy, just that spark plug, get him in, and boom, you're going to take off, especially if he goes to a team like the Falcons or the Bills or the Steelers, all teams with really good offenses, right? Najee Harris should be able to just kind of slide in and just go to work. And then I'll save the Kyle Pitts rant for that Kyle Pitts video as to why I think you should take him number 1 overall in your rookie draft. But that's gonna do it for my first ever rookie profile breakdown. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that like button down below. You can also subscribe so you don't miss a video from me. Follow me on all social media platforms. There we go. On all social media platforms. And last but not least, check out the website ffvulture.com for premium fantasy football packages. Thank you so much for watching. Remember, people come and go, but fantasy championships are forever, and I will see you in the next video.